fight. A common goal to come together to cement a legacy as a champion.
World champ, baby!
Many will fall. Only one will rise.
And with one simple tweet, words I never think he really thought he'd say about himself, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell welcomed in.
Here we go.
The 2012 regular season. Welcome back to football. The day we've all been waiting for is finally here. Hashtag NFL Kickoff. And we thank the commissioner for using our show name in his hashtag. Welcome into NFL Kickoff. As always, glad to be sharing some time with you. Trey Wingo here with Tim Hasselbeck, Teddy Bruschi, and the coach, Eric Mangini, is also here. Just keep this in mind as we get set for the Cowboys and Giants. The last 3 times the Cowboys and Giants have played against each other to start the season, one of those teams has gone on to win the Super Bowl. Just throwing that out there.
Right.
Food for thought.
Just saying.
Kind of an important deal. And we update, by the way, on Jason Witten's health and whether or not he's going to play for the Cowboys. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, get you set up for some of the things you can expect to see in tonight's contest. The Cowboys have actually owned the Giants in opening games. The two teams have met 5 times to start the Cowboys season, and each time Dallas has come out on top, outscoring New York by an average of almost 25 points per game. But then again, Super Bowl champs in this current format have actually never lost this primetime middle-of-the-week game. Only one of those games involved Eli Manning, who has enjoyed great success against Dallas. 31 career touchdown passes against them, his most against any team and the 4th most by any quarterback against the Cowboys. And then there's Tony Romo. He's lost each of his last 5 starts against the Giants, with Dallas's only win of the Big Blue in the last 3 seasons coming when John Kitna was under center. And if Romo is going to reverse that trend, he'll need better protection from his O-line. He was sacked 6 times in that Week 17 loss that forced the Cowboys out of the playoffs. Let's start with Rachel Nichols now on a team report for the G-Men.
Well, Trey, the Giants have heard that no one is picking them to repeat as champions this year. They've heard prominent players on both the Packers and the 49ers say that New York's playoff victories against them were flukes. And some players think, oh, that's funny. Some players are angry and they're using it as motivation. But to a man, they all think that they are a much better team than people realize. It's not just their elite quarterback or their fierce D-line. It's their team chemistry. In fact, take a look at this. You know it's a loose locker room when they're drawing up a whiteboard, keeping track of who on the team is showering after practice and who isn't. These guys like each other. They like playing with each other. And Trey, they think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with starting tonight against Dallas.
Rachel, thanks. We will check in with Colin Dominguez and a report for the Dallas Cowboys a little bit later. But first, let's go right to our professor, ESPN insider John Clayton. John, let's get some injury updates, and let's begin with the very latest news we have on Jason Witten, the tight end who lacerated his spleen in the first preseason game. Is he playing?
He's playing. We don't know how much he's playing, but he's been cleared by the doctors, and because of that, he is going to be on the active roster. He was at least cleared by at least a very late state, and he was moving around pretty well. People watched him in the pregame warm-ups and thought he was doing pretty well. So overall, looks like Jason Witten's going to be out there. He actually put a waiver that he was going to sign. Didn't need to sign it, but it looks like he is going to play. Meanwhile, Marvin Austin, the defensive tackle of the Giants, one of the inactive players, his back injury was one where they ruled him out the day before, and so he is definitely going to miss this game. So now overall, we got that injury there. Then, of course, we have Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant is active. He's got that knee injury, and so because of that, it looks like he's going to be able to be fine. Now, it's just a tendonitis problem. It's not a big issue. So it looks like Dez Bryant is going to be healthy. Miles Austin is going to be healthy. Overall, that's good news for the Dallas Cowboys. Bad news, though, is Jay Ratliff. He's officially going to miss this game because of his ankle injury, and that's not good. Overall, he's got a banged-up situation that may keep him out a couple weeks, but they hope to get him back as soon as they possibly can. They're just not getting him back tonight. Now, and also late-breaking news, Hakeem Nicks, with that foot injury, is active. He vowed that he was going to be able to play, and he was able to play. At least we'll see how much. Just like Witten, he may not be able to play the entire game, but he has been cleared. He is going to be on the active roster. We'll see if he's going to start, but Nix is active for the New York Giants.
All right, John, thanks very much. So good news for the Cowboys and good news indeed for the Giants that Akeem Nix, who broke that foot in the first rep of OTAs way back in May, is ready to roll. But Teddy, let's start with you.
Yeah.
Listen, how significant is that for what the Cowboys want to do and need to do offensively against the Giants?
Yeah,
Witten will be there.
With Witten playing now, it's huge, especially when you're talking about game plans, especially defensively. You got Gronkowski in New England, Graham in New Orleans, Vernon Davis in San Francisco. Those type of effects on the offense and defensive sides of the ball. And now you've got Witten in Dallas. That's the type of effect that he has. With no Witten, especially in the red area, if I'm an inside linebacker, I don't have to worry about a double team with that tight end if an outside linebacker or a safety is covering him. But since he's there now I have that effect where I have to have more attention to him and less attention in helping out my cornerbacks and safeties. I got to worry about Jason Witten, especially in the red area. It's huge.
It's huge not only for that, but also for Tony Romo's confidence. That's his safety blanket. But also, Eric, he's a huge part of what they want to do in protecting Tony Romo. And that's been a real problem for the Cowboys the last couple of times against the Giants. Again, 6 times in the Week 17 matchup, 9 times that he was sacked in the last 2 games. Having Witten there, it really helps a little bit to try and slow down that all-out pass rush.
It helps a lot. And when you look at the last game, there was quite a bit of 7-man protection. They were keeping extra blockers in, but it wasn't as effective as they needed to be. Obviously, there's 6 sacks. What I think the approach will be tonight is try to run the football pretty consistently, even if they're not getting big chunks of yards, because then that can set up the play-action pass, and that can set up some max protections off the play-action pass, which will slow it down. When you've got a guy like Jason Witten, it sells the run, he helps in protection, and then if you need a check down, he's there.
Now, all of this is great, Tim, but for the Cowboys, it may come down to one simple thing that they could not do a year ago, and that's finish games. They had a 12-point lead against the Giants the first time they met in Week 14, one of 3 fourth-quarter 12-point leads or more that they blew in 2011. They've got to be able to make the plays when it matters most.
They do. In the supporting cast, they need to do their job, but it's going to be important for Tony Romo to do his job. Now, part of his job will be making the plays when they're there to be made, but also eliminating the bad plays. So often, and we've seen it in games against the New York Giants, you've seen him make a bad play worse. We've also seen him miss throws when they're open. So you have a wide receiver that beats a secondary player, you need to make the Giants pay for it. You have a high snap, a shotgun snap, you turn your back to the defense. Know when you need to eat the play, live to play another down, not make a bad situation even worse, and then give that Giants offense a short field. So it's crucial for Tony Romo to take care of that tonight.
I'm telling you, making the situations better is having Jason Witten back. And I'm telling you, the legend of the toughness of Jason Witten continues to grow, because you guys remember him fighting to get in when he had that concussion, all right, on the sideline, yelling at the trainers, I'm going to play, I'm going to play. They had to restrain him from going back in the game. Now a lacerated spleen, getting in there, ready to sign a release. This guy's one of the toughest in the game.
Also, a couple years ago, he made that catch in Philadelphia and then ran 30 yards with his helmet off at that time. They actually changed the rules since then, but no questioning Witten's toughness. The one thing you've got to do, the Cowboys have not got to make sure Tony Romo doesn't beat his own team. He's thrown multiple interceptions in a game 15 times, and Dallas has lost 11 of those 15 contests.
Knocked us out of the playoffs. So, obviously, I took offense to it. I had a lot to do with it, and I don't want that to happen again.
That's Cowboys defensive coordinator Rob Ryan about the letdowns they had twice against the Giants a year ago. They revamped that defense. Was it enough? We'll discuss.
Monday Night Football live on ESPN America. It's back with a doubleheader. First up, the Bengals head for Baltimore, where Flacco and the Ravens will be ready for action. Then we head west, where Rivers and the Chargers will be looking to strike on the road in Oakland.
Touchdown, Raiders!
Bengals at Ravens, followed by Chargers at Raiders. Coverage starts with Monday Night Countdown at 2300 CET. Monday Night Football live on ESPN America, home of the NFL.
That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. Hello? You play to win the game.
Men, if Coach Sean Payton was here tonight, he would tell you this. In life, we are all held accountable for our choices. And the consequences belong to us. We're not here to have a pity party or talk about what's happened in the past. We're here really to move on. In the last 3 years, we've won 41 football games, 2 NFC South titles, and by the way, a Super Bowl. Don't lose sight of that, men. This team has always been resilient. We have a great fan base. They will be with us, home and on the road. We owe those fans our best. We are still, at this point, the division champions. And until someone takes our crown, that's who we are. So let's go to our meetings, man. And let's end it with this. Who dat?
Baseball tells the story of the remarkable. July 26, 2010, Matt Garza throws the first no-hitter in Rays history.
Fly ball, right field, and he's done it!
Be there for the moments you won't forget. MLB, live on ESPN America.
Romo back to throw under pressure. Now sacked by Cup, fumbles the football, and the Giants have it. And that's your ball game.
I feel like we're doing some good things.
I thought we were better against the Giants.
It's about being consistent all the way through, and we're doing a better job doing that.
I know we're standing here today, but we want you to come to that stadium and watch us beat the New York Giants, okay?
Talk is cheap, play the game.
We don't need any extra motivation when you play the Cowboys.
Clearly that's been the case. Tony Romo could use a little extra motivation. He's lost his last 5 starts against them. What to make as we're just about an hour and 20 minutes away from the start of the season. Here's Colleen Dominguez with a report on Tony and the boys.
After losing both games last season to their division rivals, every move the Cowboys made in the offseason was designed to counterbalance the Giants. They retooled their offensive line. They're starting 2 new cornerbacks, moving up in the draft to get LSU's Moreeeee Claiborne and signing free agent Brandon Carr. Since the offseason, Jerry Jones' message has been beat the Giants. It's something they hope to accomplish tonight. Now back to you.
All right, Colleen, thanks. The Cowboys are gearing up because history suggests, again, that one of these 2 teams is Super Bowl bound. 4th time in the Super Bowl era, the Giants will open up their season with the Cowboys, and in each of the 3 previous instances, one of them has gone on to win the Super Bowl. The last 2 times the 2 opened in New York was 1995, and that was the last time Dallas won the Lombardi Trophy in Super Bowl 30. Listen, Rob Ryan came over a year ago, was the new defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Great expectations. For whatever reason, it just didn't work out. They've got a whole offseason behind him now, a whole nother year to get used to what he wants and what he expects from them, plus the addition of Carr coming over at cornerback from Kansas City, drafting Moreeeee Claiborne. Is that enough? What do you expect?
Well, I mean, in terms of why it didn't work out, cornerback was one of the reasons it didn't work out, and that's one of the things that they've tried to address in Dallas, and it's a direct reaction to what you're facing when you play the New York Giants. You look at some of the talent they have at wide receiver, specifically Victor Cruz. I mean, you look at elite wide receivers on both sides. Watch what the Giants like to do. They're going to take a shot here against the best corner in football, and Victor Cruz runs a double move and runs right by. Look at that separation. If Eli Manning keeps this in bounds, that's a touchdown. Now, they'll move Victor Cruz around. Here he is in the slot running an option route. It's 3rd and 3. This play is designed to go to him. They get it to him, and then there you see the run after the catch. So you're the Dallas Cowboys, you want to stop that. Well, here's one of the ways you do it. They're playing combo coverage down here in the red zone, which means you have some singles. One of the singles, Moreeeee Claiborne at the top of the screen. A tough play on an in-breaking route in the back of the end zone, but it's well done. Offhand, not on the receiver. He's able to extend and bat the ball away, give his teammates a chance to pick the football off. Also, Quarters coverage again. The safety's going to be influenced by the tight end. Now you got Brandon Carr running in all types of space with Robert Meacham. The ball's a little bit underthrown, and rather than panicking because he was beat, he's able to recover, locate the football, and go play it. These corners look good in the preseason. The question will be, will that carry over against top flight receivers in the regular season?
Well, that whole defense looked good in the preseason. That first team unit didn't give up a single touchdown. But Eli Manning proved last year without a shadow of a doubt he's an elite level quarterback. Teddy, you know more painfully than most how frustrating it is to go up against Eli Manning.
It is frustrating, especially when he's on, and he's usually on, especially in pressure situations. And the Dallas Cowboys did everything they possibly could to remedy this, getting Claiborne, getting Carr in free agency. But sometimes it's just not enough when Eli Manning is on, because in pressure situations, he still throws accurate balls. You can have all the ability, okay? You can have the guys in the right position, just like they did in the Super Bowl right here. But look at the location, all right? Skilled players with good technique, but still, it's unstoppable right here. It's just so frustrating. And you see another throw, a little pressure. He scurries to his left right there. But look at the window right here. You got spikes underneath, linebackers coming, inside out, safety over the top, ball up, too far, out of your reach. It's just not good enough. And with quarterbacks like Rodgers, like Brady, and yes, like Eli Manning, when he's on, you can have perfect coverage, and you can have the top pick in the draft there, and you can bring over free agents, but sometimes it's still just not enough.
As Trent Dilfer likes to say, sometimes there's just no defense for a perfect throw. We saw a couple of those instances there. Eric, with that in mind, you know Rob Ryan, you've worked with Rob Ryan. What's going to be the key for the Cowboys to understand what he wants to do and how they can make it a better defensive year in 2012?
It's going to start with communication. That's the most important thing. There's an element of the old Bears defense where you have BTFs, blitz the formation, or AFC, automatic front and coverages, where you're attacking weaknesses and eliminating strengths, but you've got to be able to get in and out of those defenses based on what the offense is giving you, and that takes a lot of people being on the same page. And we saw that last year where there were breakdowns in coverage. So eliminate that first, and then to Teddy's point, when you've got a really good quarterback who can read defenses, disguise, disguise, disguise. Those two things.
And it certainly seemed like that was the biggest problem the Cowboys had a year ago in trying to figure out what Rob Ryan wanted to do. They didn't seem like they were always on the same page. We'll see if that takes place tonight against a very tough test with Eli Manning and Victor Cruz and Akeem Nicks. Okay, so again, no officials, regular officials in this game tonight. Replacement officials are still there. And here's the referee in the spotlight. It's Jim Core. What do you say we get to know Jim Core?
Yeah.
He's the activities director at Sawtooth Middle School in Meridian, Idaho, and we wish the Sawtoothians all the best of luck. He's officiated games in the Frontier League and NAIA Conference and Arena Football 2. And although he was an official in 3 games in the preseason, he will be working with a completely different crew tonight. You think he might get an earful from both sidelines as this game goes on?
It's coming.
Yeah. Just brilliant.
Brilliant.
We'll see how this works out. Lots more coming here on NFL Kickoff. The keys to victory between the Cowboys and the Giants. It is in the 1-minute drill. That's up next on NFL Kickoff.
Baseball tells the story of a milestone. June 28, 2009, Mariano Rivera records his 500th save.
The Teixeira, the 500th save for Mariano Rivera, the second in history to reach that plateau.
Be there for the moments you won't forget. Major League Baseball all season on ESPN America.
We have a vision for the player. We have a role for the player.
He brings so much more to the table.
My number one job is to just go in there and find a way to make this team a little bit better.
Design quarterback, keep right guard. Tebow's inside the 5. Tim Tebow, touchdown.
For us to run an effective Wildcat is not a pipe dream. What we've become is a diverse, more dynamic offense.
I think we'll take it to another level this year.
What a throw by Eli Manning, backed by Pierre Paul. He's one deep. Cruz has got it. Touchdown, Victor Cruz! Under pressure, Shaq Dustin touch. Hand off Bradshaw. The goal line, touchdown Giants! What a catch by Ballard. For Manningham, who's got it, touchdown Giants! Sack by O.C. Umenyiora. What a catch by Akeem Nicks. Hand off Jacob. Touchdown Giants!
Big catch by him. I knew I was in. Proud of our guys. It's awesome.
Persevere till victory is ours.
We're the world champions.
I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I was a goody-goody. Did I rob and I steal? Yes. But was I a murderer? No.
What if I told you about a man wrongfully accused, full of anger and frustration, a man shaped by violence? What if I told you he never gave up? ESPN Films presents The Dewey Bozella Story, only on ESPN America.
Dez Bryant on the field, warming up, just about an hour and 10 minutes away from the start of the game. The Cowboys would love it if in 2012 Dez Bryant had a season similar to the one Victor Cruz had for the Giants a year ago.
The type of character guys we have in here, we respond just a lot better than, I guess, than most teams when you tell us we can't do something and you tell us, you know, we're 7-7 and we're not going to be able to make the playoffs, and we still have all our goals in sight. We want to, prove those guys wrong, and I think just the high character guys we have in here, they don't want to lose.
As a football team here, we've taken an approach that we needed to get better. I think we've done that with personnel and with our approach and the way the guys have been committed, and it's been great to see. Now it's time to take it to the field.
I can feel the anticipation. The tension is thick in the air right now. Guys are ready for Wednesday. We get the defending Super Bowl champions. We get the first crack at them. And we also get to see what we're made of, see what all the hard work, all the blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak, that we put in this offseason. Now it's time to finally go out there and put it to use and put it to work and see the result.
Well, that is indeed the mantra for the Cowboys, because they have all the sizzle, but it's time to show the steak. The Giants won both meetings with the Cowboys the last season, did so dominatingly. They outgained the Cowboys by over 100 yards per game, committed almost half as many penalties. The Giants bested the Cowboys by 10 points per game in a 31-14 drubbing in that decisive Week 17 matchup, which clinched the NFC East for the first time for the Giants. By the way, first time ever that division has been clinched by less than 10 games. Just a little nugget we're throwing out there. Okay, you guys ready for a segment we like to call the 1-minute drill?
Let's do it.
You up for it?
All
Okay.
right.
I'll ask a series of questions. We'll put 1 minute on the clock, and these guys give their answers. And when you hear the whistle, that means time is up, people, and we move on to the next segment. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Eric, we start with you. Question number 1. What player poses the biggest matchup problem in this game?
It's got to be Victor Cruz. He's going to get some double coverages, but it's trying to figure out how you're going to double cover him. He's such an issue after the catch, so you got to keep him in a very tight space.
My matchup problem here is DeMarcus Ware. I mean, whoever blocks him, really, it's a matchup problem, but with Sean Locklear being the starter at tackle, best pass rusher in the league right here, fellas. You're going to have to account for him scheme-wise, double team him, do what you got to do, but he causes problems.
Well, I'll take another pass rusher. Jason Pierre-Paul. I mean, to me, this guy, you look at the game last year against the Dallas Cowboys, he dominated the game. He took it over. He basically is the one that won the football game for him. We can talk Tony Romo, Eli Manning, all you want. The fact of the matter is Jason Pierre-Paul was the most dominant player on the field, and now you've got some shuffling on that offensive line. I think that is the biggest problem by far in this football game.
Well, the Giants and Cowboys ranked 1st and 3rd, respectively, in sacks by defensive linemen last season. Whistle. All right, next question. Let's talk keys to victory. Eric, let's start with you. X factor on offense.
To me, it's Dez Bryant. And so much has been made throughout the offseason in terms of his off-the-field issues and trying to get him to be the player that everybody thought he could be, that the Cowboys thought that he could be when they drafted him. He's got to be a factor tonight in the game.
He needs to be a factor for 4 quarters. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, my X factor on offense is this guy, DeMarco Murray right here. He's had a good preseason. He's healthy. He has got to get that running game going, if anything, just to slow down that pass rush of the New York Giants. It's huge, critical for the Cowboys to run the ball.
I'm going to go off the radar a little bit on this one to a guy I think will play more than some people are expecting him to play, and that's David Wilson, the rookie running back. He's going to be the backup to Ahmad Bradshaw, but he gives them an element of speed they don't have with Bradshaw. think they're going to try to find ways to get him the football.
Well, again, it's going to be a two-headed running back approach, just like it was last year, except it was Brandon Jacobs last year, who's now, of course, with the San Francisco 49ers. Remember, the Giants statistically were dead last in rushing a year ago in the regular season. 32 out of 32 teams whistle. They got better during the playoffs. Number 3, X factor on defense. Who is it?
It's Corey Webster. Okay, he's the only corner in this secondary with any type of significant experience. And they've talked about it leading up to the game, how much he's helped all these other guys get ready for the game. It's going to be interesting to see if they hit a big pass, how he gets that group to settle in.
Especially with the injuries, that Prince Amukamara not going to be in there, so there's more on Webster there.
I'm going to go Dallas Cowboy linebacker Sean Lee. This guy is an every down player, and especially down the field in the red zone. This guy is great in coverage, 4 interceptions, over 130 tackles. This is an every down future Pro Bowler.
I'm going back to the cornerback position and going with Morris Claiborne. We talked about him at the beginning of the show. One of the new pieces in that secondary, in a huge challenge dealing with Victor Cruz and Akeem Nicks. Listen, we saw this guy make plays in the preseason. The question will be, that's one thing, preseason. Another thing, season opener against one of the best receiving corps in the game. Huge challenge for him tonight. If he comes up big, that's great things for that Cowboys defense.
Well, Cruz and Nicks absolutely torched the Cowboys secondary in those 2 games a year ago. He went through the whistle, but it's okay. Jason Witten is playing through the whistle. He's going to be on the field tonight despite that lacerated spleen. He's tough. More NFL Kickoff coming up.
One of the big problems of the offensive line last season was protecting Tony Romo. But this season, they're going to make some changes. They moved Tyron Smith from the right tackle spot to the left tackle spot. Doug Free switches from the left to the right. They've made some changes in the offseason, spending $30 million on 2 offensive linemen to shore up the guard spots. And Phil Costa will be back at center, but he should be better than last season.
Ball hit well into right field. Stay in here. Yes! Yes! What a catch by Rios. He got a good jump, stayed right with it. Showtime! Mercy!
Kataris into left field. Rajay Davis plays shallow. Got a long way to go, and he runs it down. Excellent catch by Rajay Davis.
Fly ball, deep right. Bourne on the track, leaps, and he makes the play.
Come on, my bad. Easy, hands down.
Both, because I have to use both, to win games, and I can't just pick one.
Everybody loves their bat way more than they love their glove. Don't let anybody say they love their glove more.
A glove that feels right and you're comfortable with is probably a lot more important than bats that you could break at any time.
Bat, duh.
Season starts tonight, but the Monday night season comes your way on, Monday. Doubleheader to get you going. It starts with a great battle in the AFC North. Bengals-Ravens, both playoff teams from a year ago. Bengals with a wild card. Ravens won the division. And then we swing it out west for the Chargers and the Raiders. Double dose of Monday Night Football beginning at 7 Eastern. Okay, we got time to make quick predictions for this game tonight. Tim, who do you like?
Like the Giants. Like the receiving corps.
Pretty good receiving corps. Yeah.
Listen, what a message the Cowboys can send going in there into the Lions' den and winning. I just don't think they're going to send that message. I think the New York Giants win this game.
I think it's going to be an emotional game, but I like the improvements that the Cowboys made. I'm taking the Cowboys.
You're taking the Cowboys.
I'm taking the Cowboys.
I'm playing my history card, ladies and gentlemen. On the primetime opener, the Super Bowl champs have never lost. Super Bowl champs have won 12 straight. In fact, the only team in recent memory as a Super Bowl champ to lose was the Denver Broncos. And Mark Schlereth isn't playing for the Giants, so I'm going with the Giants. Thanks for watching.
You're watching ESPN America.